Niggas must have forgot their alphabet. Let me explain, here it goes. A is for ambition, be what I wanna be. See past the situation that's in front of me. Doubters and enemies, F we say fuck them. The irony is they inspire me to love them. G is past go when ignite the cash flow. When H is put your heart in whatever's your last hope. I inspire but two light the fire. So we be the streets #1 supplier. And J is for them Jordans for my niggas when I make it. Give me two of those strange no name kicks. Earth, wind and fire type, elemental beast that resembles me, and it accounts for LMNOP. You the track up like, oh, you impressed, get your bread, kid, but never let it go to your head. SS for success, to be the best. And T is teach back what you learn, that's next. Cause you got the power, people voluntary action. W is right out to life with a passion. X is expect to fail, why cease to dream? Even when you ain't catching them Z's, and that's the alphabet.
For so long, been surviving for so long, I know that things will come. I've been trying for so long, been surviving for so long, I know that things will come, they will come.
Yo, think they starting to follow me. So A is to attempt to be the change you wanna see, and D is to be different. But tell us what you mean. Like, are you one of them good guys, or you one of us fiends? Either way, you gotta eat. Elevate your mind right, cause F is for the fine life, and that's how you define life. But I say G is get back to your home, and H is help the people that done help to along. Oh yeah, fuck it, we go back to F, cause that's for freedom. G is keep your good thoughts, cause buddy you gon' need them. And H is if your hood stars, buddy you gon' feed them. Cause it's bad enough when niggas get the check and get to leaving. J is for them jump offs, we wanted as kids, looking through the glass, seeing the life we wanna live in. M is more money, more problems, and N-O is no P's, and that's pessimistic profits. Q, quit thinking, and R, you still with me, and S is stress less than T, it's the infinity U, is that it's all about you, and that's why a nigga fucked around and left out I. VW is very wise, and X is this exam, but why lie? You got zip if you ain't got fam, and that's the alphabet.
For so long, been surviving for so long, I know that things will come. I've been trying for so long, been surviving for so long, I know that things will come, they will come.
Welcome back, Eternal Dragon here with an update to one of my favorite Tiny Tina's Wonderlands builds, Ice Age Akimbo. We've taken this thing up to Chaos 50. We're going to call it Ice Age Akimbo 2.0. So what's different? What's the same? Well, let's take a look. We are still running a Nightshade of the Peak. It's the same one from before, but this gun is still very viable. And I've not been able to farm up an Ascended one yet, but of course if you get an Ascended one, you can deal even more gun damage with the build. The other main weapon for the build is the Boniface's Soul, and we will be using this to refill our shield, as over here. You will see that we have taken Glass Cannon, but we have not taken Mage Armor, so we will be using the Boniface to refill our shield, as that will be very important for getting maximum damage out of the build. Over here we're using a Spell Blade. This weapon actually changes your melee damage into spell damage, so you can buff this up quite a lot with additional spell damage with the Spellshot. This weapon does a ton of damage when you get in close, and on top of it, because we are a Spellshot Stabbomancer, we are going to be triggering Nimble Fingers anytime we hit an enemy with the Spell Blade. I farmed up a couple fantastic Primordial Spell Rings here. You'll see this one has spell critical hit damage and spell critical hit chance, and with this ring on, we have actually taken our spell critical hit chance up to 110%, and that's just standardly. That's at any time, so our spells always critical hit with this build. For our armor, we are running a Primordial Cape of the Tides. I have one that I got that has +3 over there to double knot, and now it only has +1, and I wish I could get a better one, because I'll show you I actually have one that's very close that I'm gonna send on the build for you guys as well. Cape of Tides here that has actually +2 to 1,000 cuts, but the other rolls on it, while they're fantastic, they're just not what we need for the build. So we will be using the one that is equipped. Here we go. As you see, it has movement speed. That'll really help the Stabbomancer, all damage dealt, and spell damage, and at least the 1 point in 1,000 cuts, so we can start stacking up that skill, even though we haven't spec'd it. This is one of the major changes to the build, the Lich's Augur. This shield is absolutely fantastic. This is from the DLC area. This is from DLC 2. And you will see I actually have one with Nova. That's very important. And this shield on Ward Break reduces your spell cooldown by 25%, increases spell damage, and spell critical hit chance by 25%. You'll see we're like crazy up there for spell critical hit chance now. And the effects reset on Ward filled. So as soon as you fill your shield up, you can trigger this again. So every time you fill your shield back up, you can break it and trigger this shield again. And so by doing that with this build, by throwing the Boniface's Soul, you can have this bonus at almost all times, and you just do crazy extra amounts of damage. For the amulet, we have the Sacrificial Skeep of Adventure. This one is an all damage dealt loot luck one. I was trying to get one with double all damage. It would of course increase the damage even further, but this is the best that I could get for now, and of course an Ascended in this spot would be fantastic as well. Then finally down in our spell slots, for mobbing we have an Ascended Trickster's Ice Spike and a Primordial Trickster's Ice Spike, and for bossing we have triple Ice Spikes. Now you really want to swap over to these for big bossing, although small bossing, mid bossing, you'll be easily able to do it over here with the Trickster's Ice Spikes. And these things are fantastic. They bounce around all over the place, they home in on all the enemies in an area and just destroy everything, so you definitely want to use these things to create an Ice Age while you're mobbing, and then pinpoint accuracy with the triple Ice Spikes here when you're bossing. Now, looking at the enchantments, we've really pushed the ice here. You see, on Spellcast, we have elemental damage increasing 20% when the main gun is out, and increasing frost damage as well on Spellcast. Over here, when health is full, which it will almost always be with this build, it's because of our Sacrificial Skeep and the fact that we're constantly refilling our shield back up with the Boniface's Soul. Therefore, we will always have 25% extra gun damage and again another 25% critical hit damage, and that does apply to your spells. Down here you'll see that we have increased gun damage because we will be shooting our gun a lot with this build, and you should definitely get that extra gun damage in. And then over here we have Frost on that one, and you know, this could be re-rolled for something. I thought I had a different one maybe, but oh well. That could be re-rolled, but it doesn't really need to be. Oh, I remember why, because this was the initial spell before I got the Ascended one. And then when you're bossing, boom, switch over to these. Where's the other triple? And then you see we have gun. And then we also here have, after casting a spell, again increase gun damage by 20% and fire rate by 30% for a short duration. So you're going to just start shooting faster and faster, doing more and more damage. So hopping over to the skill tree, you'll see we are a Stabbo Spellshot, and we have redistributed the points. We don't have anything left in Contagion. Everything's taken out of Potent Poison so that we can put 5 out of 5 into Arsenal, maxing out our melee spell and gun damage. 3 out of 3 in Haste, and 5 out of 5 in Swift Death, so that the faster you move, the more damage you can deal. That's an overall damage boost to everything, so it does include your spells as well. And Exploit their weakness so that anytime that we apply a status effect to an enemy, they get debuffed. Over here we do have points into Nimble Fingers, and that is so that every time we melee damage an enemy, we increase our fire rate and spell damage. And that was just 2 free floating points at the end, so I figured, hey, even more spell damage, right? You can see it there, 16%. We are going to be using Ambihextrous at all times, because then we can constantly be using 2 spells, but the build does in fact work with Ghostblade, or from the Shadows, or Polymorph. You can use any of them if you really want to, but we're running this for the double spells. Now going down the side of the tree, we've got 3 out of 3 in Magic Bullets. That's so we can get the maximum amount of gun damage that we can from our gun, because we love that Nightshade. Pumping up Spell Sniper so that our spell critical hit chance is just crazy. 2 out of 5 in Font of Mana because we're actually getting a ton of our spells back all the time here with Sever the Thread. but this is pretty good just in case you can't get crits for a minute or two. Just warming up, extra fire rate, and prestidigitation. Oh, I tripped on the word. Prestidigitation for extra reload speed. Of course, extra damage here from Glass Cannon. High thread count for max spellweaving stacks, and then we are going to take Imbued Weapon and Double Knot. These bounce back and forth with each other, increasing your damage exponentially. And then, of course, 1 slot, 1 kill, because extra gun damage yet again. Ending with Sever the Thread, this capstone allowing us to have a 15% chance that we can get all of our spells back from a gun critical hit. And with a gun that fires as many pellets as this does, that basically means anytime you're shooting at the critical area of basically any enemy. Finally, we'll take a look at our hero points. You see we've got 48 up here in critical hit damage. You want to max that out. 30 out of 42 to increase our overall critical hit chances, especially with the gun, so that we can be triggering Sever the Thread. We 37 out of 37 for spell cooldown, again because we want to maximize the chance of increasing our spell cooldown no matter what we do. We want to be able to keep on casting spells. A little bit of status damage, didn't put anything here, and didn't put anything there as we're not going to be using attunement at all. Finally, I'll hop over to my myth rank just to show it off because people always ask. So right now I am at 733. So that's the build, folks. I really hope you enjoy using the new updated version of Ice Age Akimbo. Save file will be in the Discord, and I can't wait to see you live over on Twitch. Hey guys, we are getting so close to 1,000 followers here on YouTube. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you all next time. Happy gaming! So here's an extra trick that I thought is a lot of fun. And you can do this with other shields as well, but we're going to do this with the Lich's Auger and the Sacrificial Skeep. Because every time that your ward breaks with the Lich's Auger, you of course get the bonuses. And the Sacrificial Skeep is going to summon a Skeep for us when our life changes. You know, when our health goes below 50%. So we are going to use these to, with a Furior weapon, intentionally down ourselves. And with the Nova on the Lich's Auger, kill the Skeep to immediately get back up and have the Lich's Auger buff. So you see, I will now have the buff from the Lich's Auger. My shield is filled right back up, so I have the opportunity to actually have my shield broken again to trigger that buff yet again. And just a great thing that you can actually do and possibly do some other really cool stuff with. I mean, we've got those new rings that really give bonuses for when you go in to save your soul and come back out. And there's a couple skills, classes that have skills that really can get a bonus from this as well. So, have fun with it.
For so long, been surviving for so long. I know that things will come. I've been trying for so long, been surviving for so long. I know that things will come, they will come.
Yo, think they starting to follow me. So A is to attempt to be the change you wanna see, and D is to be different. But tell us what you mean. Like, are you one of them good guys, or you one of us fiends? Either way, you gotta eat. Elevate your mind right, cause F is for the fine life, and that's how you define life. But I say G is get back to your home, and H is help the people that done help to along. Oh yeah, fuck it, we go back to F, cause that's for freedom. G is keep your good thoughts, cause buddy, you gon' need them. And H is if your hood stars, buddy, you gon' feed them. Cause it's bad enough when niggas get the check and get to leaving. J is for them jump offs we wanted as kids, looking through the glass, seeing the life we wanna live in. M is more money, more problems, and N-O is no P's, and that's pessimistic profits. Q, quit thinking, and R, you still with me, and S is stress less, and T is the infinity. U is that it's all about you, and that's why a nigga fucked around and left out I. VW is very wise, and X is this exam, but why lie? You got zip if you ain't got fam, and that's the alphabet.
For so long, been surviving.